My salutation to all my gurus and my fellow colleague members over here. As you can see, my topic is about the transformation of hunter's son into a warrior deity, understanding the significance of Vettaikkorumakan. The term avatar signifies a manifestation or rebirth or birth. In Hinduism, the word avatar denotes incarnation of God and goddesses. It is believed that these gods take incarnation to help the inhabitants of earth from the malevolent forces. Occasionally what happens is that these incarnated deities give rise to associated deities who inherit comparable or similar spiritual or supernatural powers from the deities. One such deity is Vettaikkorumakan. Vettaikkorumakan in Malayalam is literally translated as a son for hunt, a son for a hunt. So we can relate his origin, we can relate his lineage to the legendary story of Kiratharjunyam, which has been mentioned in Mahabharata in the Vanaparva chapter. And also Bharavi, the great poet in the 6th century AD, has composed 18 cantos epic poem on Kiratharjunyam, which explains about how Arjuna praised Lord Shiva for getting the Pashupata Astra so that he can use that Astra and win over the Kauravas. So I'm just going to run across the Kiratharjunyam story for a general perspective, that based on the instruction given by Indira, Arjuna comes down to the forest and he does an intense penance to Lord Shiva to get to inherit the Pashupata Astra, to attain the Pashupata Astra. So what Shiva does is that he doesn't give boons just like that. He doesn't come to you and just grant all the wishes that you are seeking for. He makes sure that he tests you first and check whether you are capable enough to withhold the grant or the wish that I am going to give it upon you. So Shiva and Parvati, they took the form of Kirata and Kirati. Kirati is Bila, and they come down to forest. And what happens at that time is that there is a demon called Mukasura who tried to intervene on Arjuna while he is in his intense meditation. So he comes and tried to distract Arjuna. So what Shiva does is that he shoots an arrow to attack or to kill the boar. So at the same time, Arjuna also shoots the same arrow simultaneously along with Shiva. So what happens is that Shiva comes in form of Kirata in front of Arjuna and they have a fight between each other for the position of the wild boar, who has killed the wild boar. So they fight with each other, and you all know, you're quite aware that Arjuna was a great, in Astra Shastra, he was a great well-known person. So he was so unable to be defeated in front of the Kirata. So what he does is that he weakens and he starts praying to Lord Shiva, and he tried to perform certain puja to Lord Shiva. He forms a Shivalinga and he starts doing some puja to Shivalinga. For his surprise, what happens is that the flowers that he has offered to Lord Shivalinga is, it forms as a garland and it is being worn by the Kirata. So for his surprise, he realizes that the person whom he was fighting with is none other than Lord Shiva. So Shiva was very happy. He becomes happy with his devotion and his dedication towards his penance, and how in desperate need that he requires that weapons to fight against the Kauravas. So Shiva and Parvati Anugraha Arjuna by offering the Pashupata Astra. So we know about this story, it is there in the Mahabharata and the Vanaparva, but what we know is that the story doesn't end here. In Kerala, the story takes a different version. So what happens in Kerala is that there is a ritual called Kazhamaduthu Pattu, where the continuation of this story takes place. So what happens after that? So Kirata, after granting the Pashupata Astra to Lord Arjuna, Pashupata Astra to Arjuna, Kirata and Kirati, that is Shiva and Parvati, decides to stay back in the forest and take some time, and they have a leisure moment where they are blessed with a son called Vettaikkorumakan. Okay. So what Parvati does is that she blesses his son by bestowing upon the bow and arrow, so that he can protect himself in the midst of wilderness, and they go back to their Kailasha. So Vettaikkorumakan is being brought up among the wilderness, among the animals and other creatures, and he makes sure, and he take up this characteristic of hunting whatever he sees. For his sustainability, he start hunting the animals. He start harassing the human if anybody passes his way. So he began challenging the passengers. Whoever comes on his way, he threatens them. So the sages were completely disturbed by his act, and they go and request Brahma that do something. We need your help, and because we cannot harm this kid because he is much more powerful than us. So Brahma, he is unable to help the inhabitant, the sadhus, saying that his power is weak in front of this Vettaikkorumakan. So what he suggests is that you go and pray to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu would definitely try to help you out with this whole rescuing thing. So when they go and approach Lord Vishnu, Vishnu, what he does is that he understands the mindset of Vettaikkorumakan, because he is a young chap, and he knows that this young hunter is so inquisitive. He's like he's notorious, he's hyper and all that. So Vishnu takes up a form of an old hunter, like an aged hunter, senior-most hunter. He comes down in front of Vettaikkorumakan with all those fancy weapons in his hands. So when Vettaikkorumakan sees this aged hunter, he questions him what do you want to do with this old weapons? Better you give it to me. I have use, I want to use them and all those things. So Vishnu was quite aware about the fact that this he is none other than Shiva's son. So he was pretty particular about what kind of weapon should he hand over to Vettaikkorumakan. So he says that I will give you the weapon only in one condition, that you are not supposed to keep the weapons down ever in any kind of scenario. So he tosses the churiga, that is dagger, to Vettaikkorumakan. So we have already know that Parvati has already gifted Vettaikkorumakan with bow and arrow, so he is already carrying that. So once Vishnu gives him the churiga, he holds the churiga from another hand, and he is already carrying the dhanush and chara. So when he realizes that, that I'm in what state would I be able to attack somebody if they if attack me, because both their hands are covered with weapons. So when he realizes, when he comes to that state of realization, and he turns back to at the same time Vishnu comes Vishnu show his real character, he comes into his original form, he prostrate in front of Vishnu, and he takes blessing from him, and Vishnu suggests him that you go to the land of Parashurama and try to help the people who stays in Kerala and protect them from all the malevolent forces. So he obeys, he takes up his order, and he travels all the way to Kerala. And it is, and these story is being mentioned in no literature but in the folklore that has been sung during the Kadamalathu Paattu. So this way he comes to Kerala. So when he comes, it has been said through the ritual songs that he travels north, Kalinga, Kanchipuram, Kumbakonam, Rameshwaram, Tiruvananthapuram, Thrissur, Kozhikode, and that's how he entered Kozhikode. So in Kozhikode, he encountered Nambumala Tamburan of the Nilambur fort. So then he fell in love with the daughter of Nambumala's daughter, and he seeks for getting married to the girl. So that's how he he becomes submissive, he becomes quiet, like the ferociousness all disappears and he becomes docile, and he decides to stay there in Kerala and help out the people if ever anybody comes and seeks help from him. So the king, that Nambumala Tamburan, what he does is that he goes and requests Vettaikkorumakan that he is getting threats from many enemies, so you help me out from winning over the battles against them. So Vettaikkorumakan, what he does is that he helps Nambumala Tamburan and he gets succeed in all the wars that he is about to witness. So out of gratitude, out of complete emotion, Nambumala Tamburan constructs the first temple for Vettaikkorumakan in Nilambur, that is in Kozhikode, Nilambur in Kerala, in northern part of Kerala. So the similarly, there is another episode that takes place is the Balusheri Taruvar, that is Tamburan also faced a similar kind of threat, and likewise Vettaikkorumakan comes and helps out Balusheri Tamburan, and Balusheri Tamburan also constructs the temples in reverence to Vettaikkorumakan, and now it has been considered as Balusheri Kota and a famous temple for the veneration of Vettaikkorumakan. So the representation of art, that is the iconographical representation of Vettaikkorumakan is being depicted through various forms, starting from the wood carvings, the wood carvings from the brackets of the temple, then comes the stone sculptures, then comes the bronze, and then we have the mural paintings that is being depicted in the temples where the Vettaikkorumakan has been venerated. So here are some of the examples of Vettaikkorumakan in wood. So the common iconography of Vettaikkorumakan is that in almost all the sculptures, whether it is to do with wood, stone, the bronze, and as well as in mural painting, is that he stands in Samabhanga with his right hand in a Katya Vidambita Hasta, where he is holding the dagger downwards, and in the left hand he holds the Dhanusha and Shara. So, and you can see that he is adorned with Karanda Mukuta, and then he has this Bujavalis, then he has Hara, he has this Udara Bandha, and then Yagnopavita. All those are the certain attributes that he has been adorned in the is been represented as an iconography of Vettaikkorumakan. So, the veneration of Vettaikkorumakan happens in two aspects. One is Kalamelathu Paattu and the other one is Thayyam ritual. So the Kalamelathu Paattu is very much common in southern part of Kerala, and in northern side you have a lot, the Vettaikkorumakan is venerated from the Thayyam rituals. So in this we will be looking at the significance of Kalamelathu Paattu. So Kalamelathu Paattu works on the threefold universal theory of creation, preservation and destruction. So the creation is the creation of Kalam, preservation is preservation of the Kalam through the worship, and destruction is that in the end of the ritual the Kalam is being completely destroyed by the Velichapada. So these are some of, I'm getting into, not in detail, but general description about the rituals that have been associated in venerating the Vettaikkorumakan. Kalnadal is nothing but Pandalidal. So there would be a specific area allotted for the worship of the Vettaikkorumakan, either in front of the temple or in a small area within the Tarwad of the Nair family. So a rectangular space, like these wooden pillars have been crafted out of jackfruit tree, and they are being formed in a state of canopy. And in the southeast corner they lit a lamp in the veneration of the Agni, in the Agni Sthan, and then they do a small ritual to Ganapati as a token of the starting of the ritual. And then Kooridal. So this is an interesting ritual where the Yajaman, the one who is commissioning the ritual, and the performer, that is Kurup. So the Kurup is one particular community in Kerala who are associated with practicing this ritual. They used to, but I'm not sure whether it has been still practiced or it has been taken over by other communities as well. So what they do is that they stand facing each other on the east-west direction, and the performer, that is Kurup, asks permission from the Yajaman, whether like Kure edite, he sees it 3 times. Afterwards, what happens is that to show as a token of permission, the Yajman offers a red silk load to the performer, and the male Shanti or the Brahmin Nambudri blow the conch 3 times, indicating that we are about to start with the ritual. And this ritual should not come to, it should not be distracted, should not be stopped, even if there is a death in the family. It should not be stopped. So once this Kura idol happens, next goes to the Ucha part or Ucha Puja. So Ucha Puja is basically the veneration of Ganapati again, and Ucha part is basically they sing, they recite songs in the worship of Lord Ganapati, Saraswati, Shri Krishna, and Shiva. Then these are the instruments like Nanduni is one specific kind of an instrument that has been used only for this particular ritual, that is Kadamadithu Pattu. Stuti is basically praises in veneration of Vettaikkorumakan. So before they head on to singing praises for Vettaikkorumakan, they start singing for Ganapati, Saraswati, Shri Krishna and Shiva. Then Kadamadithu. So this ritual, it takes around 4 to 5 hours, and while this ritual is taking place, while the Kadamadithu has been happening on the canopy, the Brahmin Nambudri will start doing small veneration to Ganapati again by a different way of Kadamadithu, that is called Padmam, like a Shadkona Chakra Padmam, where the Ganapati has been invoked and been worshipped. So after that puja has been happened, the next goes to the Kadamadithu. So in Kadamadithu they use 5 colors, that is yellow, green, red, black and white. So once the Kadam has been drawn, the canopy is decorated with tender coconut leaves, arecanut, betel leaves, and tender mango leaves and flowers and everywhere throughout encircling the canopy. And then what happens is that they put a heap of rice grain. On top of that, they would keep a coconut and betel nut, and it would be kept for the Saptamatrikas. And light would be lit on all the direction, north, south, east, west. And after that, what they do is that they keep a small pidam, that is a small stool, and it would be covered with a piece of cloth, and on top of that, they would keep rice grain, and then Val Kannadi. Val Kannadi is a representation of the deity himself. Then, while this thing is happening, the Māriamman along with the team, they play Chande and Kullar. And this music is so much enticing that if anybody is hearing to the Panchavadyam, they easily get into a transatic state. And Mullakar part is another ritual. It's a continuation of the ritual where the performer transforms into a Velichapad. Velichapad is an oracle, like who gets into a trance. So he takes the sword from the temple and he does a pradakshina. And while doing his pradakshina, he performs a kind of a different dance, that is Ittum Kurum Chavittu. So this dance is very much it goes on that Jugalbandi, like the Panchavadyam, like the Chande and Kurar is being played simultaneously according to the steps of the Velichapad. Then Kala Pradakshina. After he does this small dance outside, he comes back in that Kadamadithu ritual. He do Pradakshina 3 times slower, 3 times in a medium pace, and 3 times in a fast pace. And there is a competition happening between the players as well as the performer. So the dance and the music itself take this Velichapad, the performer, in a possessed state that he himself get into the form of Velichapad, like he becomes Velichapad, and then he goes and take rest. Meanwhile, the Brahmin Nambudri comes and do the ritual, like the invocation of Vettaikkorumakan in the Kadam. So only at that time the Kurup would come and open the eyes of the Kadam, that is Vettaikkorumakan, that is like Prana Pratishta of the deity. So once that has happened, The next is the intensifying ritual, and the conclusion of this ritual is that a breaking of 12,000 coconuts, that is Tena Aerial or Nelika Meru. Nelikera Meru is basically the Meru mound of 12,000 coconuts. So what happens is that the Velichapada, after performing the rituals, would come out, and he does a small prayer to the Vettaikkorumakan, and he sits and double-handedly, simultaneously, he starts breaking the 12,000 coconuts. And the minimum is 3 coconuts and the maximum is 12 coconuts. So after breaking this coconut, the Velichapada goes back into the kalam, he rubs off the kalam, and he gets into the trance, and like how Paramita ma'am has shown that, people will start questioning, like the prashnam kelkardu. So the people will start taking questions like, are you satisfied with this ritual, are you happy, and all those things. So once he's satisfied, he responds back to the Yajaman, and that's how the veneration of Vettaikkorumakan in the form of Kadamaluthupattu comes to an end. So I conclude by saying that Vettaikkorumakan, it's a transition from a hunter's son to the becoming of a tutelary deity, and the Kadamaluthupattu is an conglomeration of various art forms, either to do with the mural, Kalamaluthu painting, Kalamaluthu, that is Duli Chitra, the musical instrument, the music, the breaking of coconut, all this narrates the story of the journey that Vettaikkorumakan takes from the time since he was a son to becoming a tutelary deity. So through this rituals, Vettaikkorumakan's legacy continued to thrive, reaffirming his enduring significance in Kerala religious legacies. Thank you.
We will discuss later on. For the next speaker.
Our next speaker is Dr. V. Preethi, Assistant Professor, the Kuppuswamy Sastry Research Institute, Chennai.
I am requesting.
Namasabhaye, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I am Dr. V. Preethi, and my topic is about 2 specific forms of Māriamman. Today I am going to talk about Vellaivembu Māriamman. She is residing in the Thiruvadurai Adinam route in the paddy field, and she is having 2 temples now. She is also residing in a Thiruvalangadu, which is in the way of Kumbakonam to Mailadurai. The reason why I have chosen this topic is since I have been born and brought up in Kumbakonam and Thiruvadurai area, I have visited the temple and I have know the religious things and also the facts and the origin of the temples. So why don't we give to the audience about the new topic. Māriamman is a vast subject, and also we have so many kinds of Māriammans in Tamil Nadu. But I thought this Vellaivembu Māriamman, origin of Vellaivembu Māriamman is a unique thing, and the second Amman is Padaikatti Māriamman, who is residing in Valangai Man. She is a Māriamman, and the festival there, they celebrate to show the devotees to show the devotees gratitude towards Māriamman is the different thing. So I thought I can take these 2 ammans. So now I am moving on to my topic. Hinduism is a synthesis of many different rituals, philosophies, beliefs and traditions represented throughout the creative use of legendary figures. This intriguing religion has an endless number of deities, devatas, incarnations or avatars. Many deities and other entities are revered as part of folk tradition, primarily in South Indian villages. These goddesses and gods can either be fierce or beneficial, and they are closely linked to the well-being of the villages. In general, the village deity traditions preceded the established mode of temples and temple worship. In a village, two main kinds of deities are worshipped. These gods can be regarded as Kula Devatas. There is a fertility goddess in most traditional villages. This goddess is believed to have come from nature and to be inextricably connected to the village's earth, that is the land of the villages. She is not just a protective deity, rather, she is an image of the village. Several of these kinds of deities are exclusively to their village, have the origin legends, and are only revered by those in that area. Māriamman, the most prominent of the Grama Devatas, is revered throughout South India. She is an incarnation of goddess Parvati, and she is revered as Pidari, Kaval Devam, etc., and many more names and forms in accordance with local community practices. In addition to fertility, she bestows resistance against smallpox and other deadly diseases. First topic is Vellaivemba Māriamman. From the picture you can see the paddy field and the trees where the temple, that is the Mallarpet temple, is located. This Māriamman is having a two temple. Both are small temples. The first one is located in the Mallarpet, that is the Thiruvavuduthurai Adinam area, the way to the Thiruvavuduthurai Adinam area. The Vellaivemba Māriamman temple is situated 17 kilometers from Mayiladuthurai, Tanjore district in Mallarpet hamlet, between the paddy fields on the route of Thiruvavuduthurai Adinam Mutt. The neem tree was massive with numerous branches extending across the ground, similar to banyan trees. Beneath the neem tree, there was a small temple. The villagers referred to the temple's deity as Vellai Veppilaikari. According to local traditions, the tree had green leaves on one side, while milk white neem leaves covered the other. However, the milk white neem leaves on the branches of the tree have dried up, and the branches that extended out of the opposite side of the tree have developed into a large leafless tree. Goddess Māriamman is now seated beneath the tree, a new branch facing south. The local Pujari, I had an opportunity to talk to the Pujari since I got his number. According to his view, I am pointing few points here. The local Pujari Veeramani says that this temple is up to 200 years old. The tree is situated along, 2000 years old. The tree is situated along a large water canal that was previously a river thousands of years ago. So many Siddha Purushas performed penance along the banks of that unnamed river. Over time, the river moved to a distant location as a result of natural disaster, and the current water canal is the little tributary of the Veera Cholan sub-river. You can see the canal there in the picture. This is also called as Manjal Vaikal. In Tamil we say that the small area water going, that is called as Vaikal, Manjal Vaikal. To prevent the branch from deteriorating, a concrete floor has been built above the ground. A lotus-shaped pita holds a statue of the goddess Māriamman on the floor. Here, she is seen in the Yoga Mudra pose, facing the southern direction. Several Siddha Purushas who were performing penance in the nearby forest and under this tree worshipped and prayed to goddess Māriamman and requested her to remain in her Yoga Mudra form so that she could shower blessings upon everyone who come to her. You can see the Ambar here. She is sitting in the lotus pita, and this is the original statue which was kept in the Garbhagriha of the temple. And behind the Ambar we can see the neem tree which looks like a Ambar. Since the idol is kept there, so we cannot see the exact features of the tree. And also you can see the white leaves of the neem tree here. As time passed, people there started feeling the presence of goddess Māriamman, especially when it came to curing their ailments and blessing a child. sick people's ailments vanished when they consumed one or two of the white leaves of the neem tree. The wishes of those who prayed for a child were fulfilled. This idea led to a few local residents to start plucking the trees, plucking the neem leaves from the trees. The story behind this temple states that goddess Māriamman, who stayed in the shape of the neem tree, experienced great pain when the leaves of the neem tree of Mallarpet were frequently removed by those who are ill. Her younger sister comforted her when she wept and told her the story of her sufferings, and they went to her home in Thiruvalangadu, a little hamlet on the highway that connects Mayiladurai and Kumbakonam. She was advised to stay at the residence. Consequently, both sisters remained in the same location as white and yellow neem leaves. Even if the older sister visits her original home in Mallarpet to bless her devotees, the younger sister, known as Manjal Pavadai Kari, resides beneath a yellow-leafed neem tree. So you can see the white neem leaves and the yellow neem leaves on the next picture. The white neem leaves, the tree which have white neem leaves, it grows faster. That is, we can see so many neem leaves in the tree itself. But Ayyanar, the Adaikalan Katha Ayyanar temple, the baby started crying, and when the Govindammal took the baby, she stopped crying and she started laughing. So the villagers thought that why don't she take care of the baby. But according to the village tradition, that area leader, that is, we say Natame, something like that, our councillor, so that person took care of the baby. But suddenly in that village, the animals got some diseases and they started to die, and even the people also got the deadly illness. So they thought because of this because of this baby, we have got these kind of illness. So they decided to hand over the baby to Govindammal. Govindammal took care of the baby very well. She kept a name like Sheetala to that baby, and Sheetala too got the deadly illness, that is the smallpox, and in few days she too died. So they Govindammal felt very bad, and she was very so she buried her in her own garden, and few people, after few days, few people went there. In Govindammal's garden there was a river, so some people went there to take bath, and they saw that Sheetala was living in that couple. So they thought it was her soul. But in few days, they started believing that it is the goddess Māriamman. So they built a small temple in the buried area of Sheetala. That's how the temple was started. Here there is a unique and unusual belief, and unusual ritual is there. I am going to point out that thing alone. So as you can see, this is, we say in Tamil, this is a padai, that is usually a stretcher made out of human, that is made out of a green mungil, bamboo sticks, and using bamboo sticks using that coconut green leaves. So usually this kind of padai is used to carry a dead body from its place to burial ground. In this ritual, this is celebrated as a ritual in the Padaikatti Māriamman temple. There is a unique prayer that usually who fell sick, deadly diseases, they used to pray that Māriamman, if he or she gets cured, they will keep the keep him or her in that padai, and they will do all the rituals for what we do for the dead body. They will do all the rituals. For example, tying the head, and tying the toe fingers, all those things, and they take procession in the around the temple. After that, the pujari will come and sprinkle the manjal, that is turmeric water, holy water. Then the ritual is over, so that they think that after that they won't get any deadly diseases. This kind of unique ritual is celebrated in that temple. You can see a different kind of padai. This is used for the kids around 10 years, 7 years, something like that. If the kid is ill, they will keep this kind of padai there for the ritual. And this is another one. So in this you can see that that person is getting out from the padai after the ritual is over. And this is the Unjal festival of the Tambal. Thank you.
Thank you, Preethi. So you have seen us a new type of paper. We will discuss later on. Next paper.
Our next paper by Dr. J. Sumathi, Assistant Professor, CPRIIR Institute of Neurological.
The worship of Mahamaham, 9 river deities in Mahamaham festival. We are now Kumbakonam is famous for the Mahamaham festival. It is celebrated in the once in a 12 years. In every year we celebrated the Mahamaham, which is called the Ilaya Mahamaham. So in Kumbakonam is the temple town called the temple city. We have a numerous temple like Shiva and Vishnu. Kumbakonam was also formerly known as the Bhaskara Shestram and Kudandai and Kudamukku. They each name have a separate story, and which is Kumbakonam is mentioned in first time in Kumbakonam Tirupukal by Arunagiri-Nathar. After it is named as the Kumbakonam in 1385. In Kumbakonam city divide, it's the name from the local deity Kumbeshwara. His temple is built during the 9th century Chola period. After it is developed by the Nayaka during the 15th and 17th century. The Shivalinga is slightly tilted at the top of the left, and hence the name of Kumbha, and Konam means bend, and the deity is called Kumbeshwara. And this is the main deity of the Kumbeshwara temple, and Parvati is the name of the Mangalambika. And what's the story behind the Mahamaham festival? I have separated the story in 11 segments. The first one is, there is the story, Mahamaham festival several millions ago, whole world got submerged in the deluge on account of the birth of the god Shiva. The destroyed for the unaccountable sins committed by the humans on his earth. First one is Brahma, anticipating the deluge, prayed to Lord Shiva to save the creation of the destruction. The next one is, as per the instruction by Lord Shiva, Brahma worshipped the Kumbha containing the Amuda and the seeds of the creation. The third one is, at the time, the deluge Amuda Kumbha is placed atop of the Mahameru hills, and the fourth one is Amuda Kumbha is floating in the flood and moving towards the south, and the fifth one is the flood subsiding the coconut and mango leaves and tarubai and punul and the bilvam. fell down with the various plays of the many Shivalingams, and which is called Kumbeshwara, Gautameshwara, and Abhibukeshwara, Kashi Vishwanatha, and Panapurishwara. And the sixth one is Lord Shiva in the form of hunter, and arrow broke the Amuda Kumbha in the two pieces. The Amuda flowed down and broken the Kumbha. The eighth one is the Lord Shiva collected and mixed the sand with the Amuda and made Shivalingam and merged himself after worship. The ninth one is the sacred Kotramaram tank, someone Amudam was settled, which is nearby the Kumbeshwara temple. And next tenth one is the sacred river of Kaveri. And the 11th one is the Mahamaham tank, which is remaining the Amuda Kundam part was settled. After the creation of the Mahamaham tank, all the rivers went to the Lord Brahma and cried that they wanted to purity themselves. All the peoples were washing their sins in their water. Lord Brahma advised them to take a bath in the Mahamaham tank during the Mahamaham festival. And the significance of the Mahamaham festival is the sacred dip taken in the Mahamaham tank, which is believed to cleanse the sins of all devotees who take the sacred dip. Pilgrims from all over the country gather to the sacred dip, which is considered the highly auspicious to do so during the festival. It is also mentioned in the Periya Puranam and Tirukudandai Puranam. And this is the Mahamaham tank. They have inside of the Mahamaham tank there is a 20 well. They have many different tirthams: Indra Tirtham, Agni Tirtham, Yama Tirtham, and Nurta Tirtham, Varna Tirtham, Vayu Tirtham, and Kubera Tirtham, Isana Tirtham, Brahma Tirtham, Ganga Tirtham, Yamuna, Godavari, Narmada, Saraswati, Kaveri, Kumara Tirtham, Bayoni, and Sarayu, and Kodi Deva Tirtham. And it will be constructed as 16 mandapams. So after and this is the Kashi Vishwanatha temple, and this temples, the outside of the temples, the gate is decorated with the 9 rivers goddesses, and the 9 rivers, which is called as the Navakannikas, who played to Lord Shiva Varanasi to absolve them the sins, washed away the baths. The entrance gate of the temple showcases the image Shiva as the 9 river goddesses. The festival features deities from the Kumbakonam temple arraying the tank for the Tirthavari, a communal bathing ceremony at the noon. And this is the another way of the Navakannikai Mandapam, and this is the only open once in a year. After the Tirthavari, this door will be closed after 1 o'clock. So it will be open in the next Mahamaham year, next Maham. And this is the separate shrine for the Navakannikas in Kashi Vishwanatha temple. And this is the painting of the Navakannikas. This is the Kumbeshwara temple. And this is the famous Kolu during the Navaratri festival in Kumbakonam. In conclusion, I would say the river goddesses are not just worshipped in the form of the sacred water, but they are also the river, the Navakannikai, in the form of the ideal in the Kashi Vishwanatha temple. These rivers often divine the power from the Lord Shiva to purify the soul of the devotees during the Mahamaham festival. This festival is also called South Kumbh Mela and the remodel of the Kumbh Mela of the North India, which happens once in 12 years. This Mahamaham festival is in Kumbakonam. It's not just a religious observance, but a study of the Indians' rich spiritual and cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumathi. You have finished your paper within the stipulated time. So thank you. Especially thanks for you. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Dr. V. Sandhiyalakshmi, Assistant Professor, CPRIIR Institute.
Important role in human life. In this paper, I would like to talk about the origin of Navagrahā and Navagrahā plays a very important role in human life. this paper, I would like to talk about Navagrahā in a group representation of form rather than the individual one. I would like to talk about know about the when and where this concept began and how it evolved over a period of time. Before we go to the second. Before discussing the literary and iconographical discussion of Navagrahā, I would like to give brief description about the planetary deities in Indian literature. It will be helpful to understand the iconographical form better. This is based on Indian literature. Okay. Based on Indian literature, the Navagrahas are divided based on astronomical order and then temporal order and then astrological order. The temporal order is most important one for our study. Temporal order is from the introduction of the 7-day week. The calendrical system entered into India in the 4th century CE via trade route from Roman Empire. The temporal order is invariably followed in all artistic depiction of planetary deities, especially in North Indian sculpture. 7-day week became an increasingly common in India. It did not supersede the original Indian calendar based on lunar cycles. Rather, it coexisted with the lunar calendar, which was designed for determining the date of astrological and religious festival. And so, from 4th century, most astrological texts was based on the temporal order. The planetary deities are in temporal order: Surya, Chandra, Mangala, Buddha, Prahaspati and Shukra. This paper is posed on group discussion of planetary rather than the individual one. Nava means 9 and Graha means planet. In the Maitrayani Upanishad, the first time it's mentioned that Graha means planet. In the Maitrayani Samhita mentioned that in the conjunction with the moon and the lunar asterism. From the first direct references to planet is occur only in the Atharva Veda. That means the planets are wandering in the heaven and invoked along with Mitra and Varuna to get to secure blessing and prosperity. Starting from Rig Veda to the 2nd century CE, the planets were neither personified nor anthropomorphized. The impetus for the transformation from an astrophysical conception to metaphysical one was based on the following factors: Hellenistic astrology and the Western calendrical system, inclusion of Rahu and Ketu. System, inclusion of Rahu and Ketu from Ragasramhita and iconographical description from Matsya Purana. These are the paved way for the formation of iconography of Navagrahā into the sculpture. The important catalyst for the creation of artistic representation of planetary deities is in India was the influence of Greek mythology and religious imagery. Alexandrian text on Hellenistic astrology was translated into Sanskrit by Yavaneshwara by doing the court poet of Rudradaman, who was Saga Chhatrapa king, who ruled in Ujjain in 140 to 150 CE. The text is known through the versification of Swadadbhaja, the king Swadadbhaja, through Yavanajadaga, that is 269 to 270, during the time of Rudrasena. Here the sun and the moon and other planets are anthropomorphized in the text. The physiological triads are described as well as those of the human form and the space. The retention of the personality of the planets, in addition to the Hellenistic attributes, suggested that the iconography of the planetary deities were transmitted to India through the textual description rather than through the Greek manuscript illustration, which were interpreted by Indian artists. The textual passages, however, not simply translated. The text was expanded, included to the allusion of Indian mythological figure and sacred lore of the Hindus. After the sun and the moon, the planetary deities are grouped in astrological order based on the benevolent ruler, Prahaspati and Shukra, the neutral deity Buddha, and malefic deity of Mangala and Saturn. But Rahu and Ketu are not included in this group during the time of the Yavaneshwara. The next stages of the conception in Navagrahā has been added to Rahu and Ketu along with the sun and the moon and other five planetary deities, forming the group known as Navagrahā. Rahu and Ketu are considered to be astral entries in the 1st century BC or the 1st century AD, demonstrated by Garga Samhita. After the middle of the 6th century, the Braka Samhita mentioned that there's a separate chapter for Rahu and Ketu, but the iconographical description was not flourished in this work also. So then move on, you've already seen the Western calendar system for 7 days week, and then the Matsya Purana, the 6th century, is a paved way, the way for the formation of iconographical anthropomorphic description was mentioned in this in the Matsya Purana. All this paved the way for the formation of Navagrahā. So after that, Agni Purana and Vishnu Purana, Skanda Purana also give anthropomorphized form. Artistic growth and iconographic innovation in the second half of the 5th century, representation of planetary deities are executed. However, the earliest surviving example seems to date from the end of the century. A fundamental change in the religious imagery that occurred in the 5th century is indicated by the comparison of two sculptures depicting the same deity, one from Udayagiri cave, Varaga cave from Udayagiri, and another one is Zoomorphic Varaga from Iran, the Sagar district. In the first one, the earliest, in the Udayagiri cave, all the cosmological entities are found in the Udayagiri, surrounded the Varaga, but the Navagrahas are absent in this sculpture, whereas here in the Theriomorphic Varaga, on the neck portion, from the viewer's left, you can see the 7 planetary deities are mentioned here. First started from Surya, is holding a two lotus bud in both arms, and then followed by Chandra, Angaraga, Buddha, Chukra, Guru, Chukra, and then Sani. All these standing with the 2 arms, holding a right hand is in Abhaya pose, the left hand is holding a Kamandalu. This is the first earliest iconographic feature of planetary deities found in Madhya Pradesh, whole of India. In contrast to the earlier work, the planetary deities was portrayed with other subject deities. As the iconographic association is standard, it is logical to assume that the planetary deities would have been included in the Udayagiri cave. Therefore, the artistic representation of Navagrahā only assigned to late 5th century. Then, if you look into the growth and spread of Navagrahā sculpture, it started in the second of the 6th century. And surveyed from Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat and Orissa, and then other geographical area it spread to Bihar and Rajasthan in the 7th century. 8th century is a rapid growth in the planetary deity, but there is no significant geographical spread. 9th century it spread to eastern India and northern India as Bengal and Himachal Pradesh. The image was increasingly common in 9th century, and from 10th century onward they were regular in temples throughout the region. Around the middle of the 6th century, the representation of planetary deities began in Uttar Pradesh. Similar iconographic and style, those made in the earlier neighboring wood, Madhya Pradesh, as a result, close up geographical proximity, political connection, and shared artistic tradition of the two regions. This is the sculpture from 6th century, middle of the 6th century. They're from Vaskashram Museum. You can see the 6 planetary deities along with the Rahu was included in this sculpture. Next, it's a standing form. Both the varieties are forms. Later, next one. The second variety is a seated form of Navagrahā. In this, Ketu also included. Seated variety of Navagrahā, Ketu was also included in this sculpture. This is the next one. The new iconographical innovation. Surya was represented as such. Other 5 planetary deities are holding a lotus, but in its right hand, it's a very rare sculpture. It's, instead of Okay, one hour. So, okay, and the next sculpture. Okay, this is a panel from Vishnu from Madhya Pradesh, where the Vishnu was sits on a Garuda, and then other planetary deities are represented here. So the iconographic style and various certainly existed between the sculptures. The basic concept remains the same for all the surviving example. It's elaboration of the circular nimbus, additional garments, varied coiffure, crown, jewelry, garland, celestial garland bearer, and then attendant figures are all enhance the divine status to the planetary deities. Various in posture, body flexation, and very crucial in ability to artists to portray the stunning. You can the previous sculpture. Every the previous sculpture you can see there is sun's lambness was clearly seen by the from this sculpture. So the iconographic form of Ragu was basically found in almost all the places that are similar, but only the elaboration in the iconographic descriptions, the enlargement of your bulging eyes, beard, moustache, and snaring mouth, all these thick eyebrows, or the various type of hairdressers, and ants are coupled with two. And then moon is also, and half moon is also found in his hand. And then Ragu, as usual, same. And then after that, additional Vaganas are also projected in the panel. Vinayaka was included in this panel in the later century. Before when South Indian. When South Indian sculpture, there's entirely different from the planets are arranged based on the central. Surya was in the center. Other planetary deities are arranged in the cardinal and intercardinal direction. The directions also mentioned, but the position and the facing is also mentioned in this chart. Now I have come to the conclusion. The position is not only demarcate the sacrosanct of the threshold, but also serve to protect the temple from evil happening and also ensure prosperity for the founders. The independent cult worship was existed. Yajnavalya Smathi means one desire of prosperity, of removing evils and calamities, rainfall for crops, long life and bodily health should perform sacrifice to planets. Even the Graha Yaga was already also popular in remote sites of the eastern India. Even now the Navagrahā Homa are there in temples and houses.
Sandhiyalakshmi, 4 papers. So I first congratulate all of them for their contribution. Now, what I have seen in that paper, let me discuss first. Everybody has heard about their paper. Sometimes microphone is not actually catching. So after that, Aarti's paper is discussed with the local deity, son of Kirata and Kirati. So this episode depicted in different types of art, stone, metal, sculptures, mural paintings, dhuli chitra, etc. She has shown all these items and discussed about its manifestations as well as its ritualistic aspects very clearly and discussed all the rituals elaborately. Again, I will thank to Iyer. Next, I'll discuss about the Preethi's paper. She has discussed the Māriamman as Kuladevatas and fertility goddess, both. She is the most prominent Grama Devatas, an incarnation of Parvati and deity of smallpoxes. Tanjore district is related, she has discussed about the images of the Tanjore district, and sometimes she is telling that it's a temple of 2000 years and sometimes it is 200 years. I actually want to know the exact date, 200 or 2000?
2000 years.
200. Sometimes it was 200 and 2000, so let me clear.
Yeah, the first one is 2000 years, that is Vellaivemba Māriamman, and the Padaikatti Māriamman that is mentioned by one of the devotees is 200 years.
200, okay,
Yes.
that's, now it is clear. Okay, thank you. Any questions? You will ask questions later. J. Sumathi's paper is on 9 river deities of Tamil Nadu. She has shown about the Kumbakonam Kumbhakeshwar temple and Mahamaham festival, discussed about the festival that organized once in 12 years. And it is related in the north Kumbh Mela and south Kumbh Mela. We are discussing about that. So it is very much specifically she discussed about this paper. The last paper is on Navagrahas in icons. She has discussed about the 9 grahas and tried to correlate the icons and the literary sources. But the representations of Navagrahā mainly from Madhya Pradesh region and some are collected from Indian several places and preserved in some foreign museums. But due to the disturbance of the microphone, it is not very clear. And I would like to suggest Sandhiyalakshmi that try to elaborate picture. Your picture quality is not good. Try to PowerPoint is very clear. Now, this is my observations, and now I would like to open the paper for discussions. If there is any questions per paper, 2 questions will be accepted. Otherwise, we cannot finish in time. Okay, just check the microphone first.
For the 2000 years.
Please repeat.
So that is a very important, because we have to in Pallava sculpture also 1600 years on the 2000 years. Otherwise don't missing given for the years. That is very important. Preethi given to answer.
One after another? Okay.
The Navagrahā வழிபாடு வந்து கிரீக்ல தான் ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. I heard in the beginning of our presentation he said அது இன்னொருத்தனமே இல்ல லாஸ்ட் இஸ் வேற சார். The question only.
If you have the specific questions on her paper, then only we can ask, not the others. So that it is easier for her to give the answer.
Just one quick question. See, the Vellaivembu Māriamman could have come only after the Vellaivembu came into being, right? So after the tree only she was named. So obviously after the tree came only, so that can't be 2000 years.
No, that is the same thing only.
The same tree can't exist for 2000 years.
The same thing, chronological.
Yeah, maybe your point is correct, but as I have mentioned in when I am presenting that according to the Pujari's view, this temple is older for 2000 years. But here the Amba is in the form of neem tree, that is white neem tree and yellow neem tree. So maybe 200 years is the obvious thing. I have a doubt also, but according to the Pujari's view, I am presenting here, and I have mentioned here that that is 2000 years old, that I have to inquire, and thank you.
I would like to say one thing, that she is
doing something on iconography. The finding out the date of a tree is very difficult because you have to cut through and measure the thing, because I know I have botanists working here. So it's not possible. Yeah, but we can't do it. I mean, it's not easy. How will she do it? Who's going to do it? So I think when these some things are a matter of faith. Like somebody will say the tree is 10,000 years old. That's a local belief. But it is a scientific study and we are not scientists.
And thank you, sir. I'm present. I'm saying that the person, sir, your name please. Sudhakar sir says that might be the tradition of worship for 2000 years old, could be 2000 years old, but that is a good thing that I can research more on that subject. Thank you.
No, you forget chronology. So if you fight this there, you forget chronology.
Any questions for thank you very much. I request our director madam to present a memento by honor the chairperson. Now we break for tea.